Hello and welcome to Corella's Fur Coat, where it appears lately we've been talking a lot, or at least featuring a lot, of Disneyland Paris, and rightly so. It is the 25th anniversary right now. The celebrations are ongoing. I was back there on the 12th of April this year covering that, and there's vlogs up now on this channel of that trip finally. Took a little bit of time, but hopefully you've been enjoying them. If not, definitely go and check them out. I think they were a lot of fun. I would say that I made them, but still, Disneyland Paris is back in the news once again for some pretty big news. I'm not gonna lie. It's something that's been, we've been building up to this. I was talking about it back, I think February, beginning of the year, about the Walt Disney Company fully buying out EuroDisney SCA to be the whole owners and operators of Disneyland Paris, of the entire resort, because up until this point Walt Disney Company has been a majority shareholder. They have a significant amount of control, but there's this thing that's like the Walt Disney Company and EuroDisney SCA are two different companies, and EuroDisney SCA has been on the French stock market and has been possible to buy shares. The public can buy shares. Anyone could have bought shares, and right now it's at a point, the news broke late on Tuesday night, that was the 13th of June 2017, that the Walt Disney Company is now in a position, they've got 97% of the shares of Disneyland Paris, and they can now just go ahead, buy out the rest of the 3% to be in a position next Monday, the 19th of June, to just own 100% of Disneyland Paris, which is kind of crazy. It's been a long time coming. We could have seen it coming. They have been talking about it a lot, but for it to actually finally happen is very, very exciting. I'm not entirely sure what to make of it, and we're going to get into all that in this video. We're going to have a look at what this means, at what the possible future outcomes are, and why it is necessary after all this time, 25 years, for them to have this massive shake-up, and if there will be much reward for both Walt Disney Company, for Disney parks, and for us as the visiting guests, as the public who go and enjoy Disneyland Paris. But it is, as I say, it's exciting because Disneyland Paris will now be the third Disney park resort worldwide to be owned wholly by the Walt Disney Company, after obviously Disneyland Resort in Anaheim and Walt Disney World in Orlando. So yeah, because Tokyo Disneyland is kind of, I think is it majority of that is with the Oriental Land Company, Hong Kong with the Hong Kong government, and the new Shanghai Disneyland is operated by the Shanghai Shendi Group. So it's like, this now sets Disneyland Paris apart from the other kind of international resorts, to set them in line with the American resorts, which is kind of crazy. And it's not just because it appears that they don't match up on the same kind of quality level as you may expect, because that's what we're sorting out here, but it really gives it that status, that higher status. Whereas people may think of Tokyo as kind of it's the older of the international resorts, and kind of the bigger, more elaborate, more successful one, which it may be, but now Paris has that little edge, that little bit of, we are Disney through and through. There's no way anyone can say anything different, and it's a really nice thing to have my home resort, or at least my little Disneyland Paris across the pond. I know, and many other people obviously in Europe. It's their little gem, and hopefully people feel the same way, and I think they should, and I think it should be a proud moment. And the thing is that now Disney can have full reign over the entire resort without any kind of input or setbacks or anything from anyone outside. Like before this point, there was an annual shareholders meeting where people could raise their opinions and things would be put forward, and the Walt Disney Company would have their agenda, but there was always the possibility that they'd be, called out or set back, or things would come in the way. And it's kind of the reason for the slow development of Disneyland Paris, because it is growing slower than you would expected to. That is, you know, in part because of the low revenue, or the fact that it basically loses money every year, but still, that's beside the point. That is something that they're gonna hopefully change as well. But you know, Disney's been planning this for a long time. Like, now that Kathleen Powell's in charge, and we'll get to Kathleen Powell in a little bit. She's the new president of Disneyland Paris. Well, new, just over a year old, but still, they must have big plans. Like, they've been thinking about this, they've been trying to get it, they've been trying to get it for all this time, and so they must have something up their sleeve ready to come at us with a new, or at least a new vision, or a new kind of, at least, long-term plan for the resort. The Walt Disney Company must have this in place. Like, I know it's been a priority of Bob Iger, and rightly so, for quite a bit of time, and so now to go in it without a plan would be, you know, futile. So you know, hopefully they've got an end game and a goal and a really structured plan to get this up to scratch, because, you know, there's a lot of potential. Disneyland Paris has so much land, I mean, a lot of it's taken up by hotels, but still, I don't think they'll be going the hotel route, but, you know, like, so much land for expansion, both at Disneyland Park, although less so, but Walt Disney Studios has so much space. I'm saying it'd be great to see Star Wars land. I'm not saying we're gonna get it, but they've got 2 Star Wars lands being built right now. Do something new. Disneyland Paris, and especially Walt Disney Studios, has been, you know, at the forefront of new attractions as of the past, you know, 10 years or so, with Crush's Coaster and Ratatouille, which are completely unique. Like, that's such a great starting point now to, you know, fully develop the back of the studios, get rid of the tram tour. I mean, the tram tour is nice, but, you know, just kind of plonk a big Marvel land or something in there. I mean, I'm saying this like it's like that, you can just do it, but you can't. But still, you know, they've got all the rights to Marvel in Europe, and so far, Spider-Man meet and greet, you know, they can fully implement this and, you know, really get studios up to scratch. Close down Armageddon while they're at it, because, you know, just don't touch the Tower of Terror, come on, like, seriously. If they end up putting Guardians of the Galaxy in there, I will not be a happy bunny. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, in terms of what can be done right now, first of all, you just need to get Walt Disney World and Disneyland standards in Disneyland Paris, because in terms of stuff like dining, you know, apart from the real high-end stuff at Disneyland Paris, in places like California Grill, Inventions, etc., that their dining options and the catering just isn't quite up to scratch, and so I have to presume that that's something that Walt Disney Parks and Resorts will look into, and they will want to bring things up to scratch, and stuff like cleanliness. I'm not saying that it's a dirty park or anything, or that it's a dirty resort, but even stuff like enforce smoking rules, you know, get people to, you know, really respect the park. I know you're talking about getting a different clientele. It's not just standard American tourists that goes to Disneyland Paris, but, you know, enforce rules, get staff, you know, the Disney training that they get in Florida and California, and bring that to Paris, so that there's never any kind of varying quality, because, you know, you can sometimes, I'm not saying, I don't have any disrespect towards the Parisian staff, but, you know, there's just, you know, you want things to be on the same level. So, and I think that's something that won't take much money, and it won't take much time, but, you know, now that the Walt Disney Company can just go ahead and do that, there's no one's going to turn around and be like, no, this is the way we do it, this is how things are done here. They can just, you know, put it in place and get it up to scratch. I don't know whether there's much more they can do with the hotels or the actual, apart from maybe giving them an extra lick of paint. You know, also the attractions that maybe look a little bit disheveled in Disneyland Park. You know, there's a couple of places that maybe, you know, could just do the bit more cosmetic, a bit more looking after to get them to be that certain. Because I know that I read on forums and just places on the internet that when Americans come to Disneyland Paris, and I'd be interested to know if I have any American viewers here, and you visited Disneyland Paris, that they can notice things just aren't quite as Disney-fied, aren't quite as magical in Paris. But it's a beautiful place. They've got all the groundwork and all the foundations are there. Disneyland Paris is potentially, debatably, I'd say the most beautiful park in the world, and so they can really do something with this, and I'd be very, very interested to see what happens. And so, how long until we do see these improvements? Maybe a while. Give them 5 years or so. I mean, it's not a thing that can just happen overnight. There's been 25 years of getting to this point, you know, so to move forward, things take time. And then there's the question of how long until Disney will see a significant increase in revenue and a loss of loss, or a gain at the resort. That again will take time because there's now an image of Disneyland Paris that needs to be completely reworked, and so you know it's an exciting time. But yeah, give it a bit of time. They've slipped, I guess, for 25 years, and now to reel it back in, Disney, you know, Disney makes dreams come true. Let's see if they can make their own dream come true in a short space of time. And that brings us back to Kathleen Powell, I guess, who has kind of whether it was her dream to get the Walt Disney Company to buy them out and to have what we just spoke about. So she came in April 2016, and it seems to have been the big talking point of Disneyland Paris for the past year or so, has been this. And you know, I think that in terms of her plan and her business model for the future, this was step one, and now she's got to just put it in, you know, into motion and get things going. And I think that it must have been top of her list, and I think we can really give her a lot of credit for doing this. I think she's been a fantastic president for the past year, and I hope that things continue to go her way. It seems like they are, and you know, the future's bright for Disneyland Paris, and you know, there's a lot that could you know, improve. One thing that I did think of when I read this is, have they got enough time? Has Disney, or have they just been working on it, and are they at a point to now bring us some stuff at the D23 Expo? Is there going to be some new announcement or plans or attractions that will be announced just over a month, just under a month, in about a month at the D23 Expo? I'm hoping so. I will be there, and I will be looking out for anything Disneyland Paris based that may come up. It's a lot of excitement, and I think that we're in a really good place in terms of Disneyland Paris's future and how things have gone as of late. So I'd really be curious to hear your thoughts on Disneyland Paris. If you are a regular visitor, maybe you visited once, maybe you've never been, maybe this will now, you know, puts that as a really, put visiting as a priority for yourself. If the Walt Disney Company now has more control, I'd very much like to hear from you. Please join in the discussion down below. Thank you very much for watching. I am Joseph Worthington, and this is Cruella's Fur Coat. Be sure to subscribe for more to the video and don't stay too long.